Farm. Today we're going to be making laundry soap in the kitchen. Every Monday I like to go through my house and check all of our supplies, since I make so many things from scratch and don't buy so many store purchased already pre-made things, soaps and detergents and all that kind of stuff. So every Monday I sort of take a check first thing, what I need for that week, what's running out, what's almost gone, what is gone. Rarely do I let things get to the gone point. So I was down to half a gallon bottle of detergent. I do my laundry on Thursdays, and I need about a half a bottle for all of our laundry. Since that's all I have left, I don't want to go into the negative, so today we are making laundry soap. It's a very simple process that I've been doing since I was 22, and I'm 50 now, almost 50. I will be 50 next year. So I've been doing it a long time. There are a lot of myths out there about making your own laundry soap. That it will ruin your wash machine, that it will clog up your pipes. All this is wrong. I have had we'll see, 1, 2, 3. I'm on my 4th washing machine now. The first one we bought used, and it only lasted for 2 years, so that one was just because that's all the money we had, so that's what we bought. The second one lasted for 10 years. The third one lasted for 13 years, and I just recently bought a new one because it was the washer was stopping in mid cycle, and I was kind of having to beat on it like an OTV to get it to go. And from prior experience, if you let your wash machine go too long when you know it's dying, it's going to end up with some catastrophe like water pouring out all over. And I've been through all that when I was 9 months pregnant, and it was not a fun event, and I don't ever want to go through the water all over the place thing. So it was dying. I knew it was dying. We had the money, and so I bought a new washer. So I know for a fact that your pipes don't get clogged, and your wash machine doesn't stop, and your clothes aren't dirty, and all the other myths that are out there. We have been sold so many lies by advertising companies that you have, since about the turn of the century, when advertising of products became more of a driving force because of printed matter, and the literacy rate was also rising when we started educating children more. So people were reading more, especially in the 20s and the 30s. We had a higher reading population and onward. So there were a lot of print ads that were promising everything under the sun. And our ads have become a little bit more truthful now that we're in the modern era. Our people aren't so gullible as they were back then. We don't fall for all the promises. However, we're still sold a lot of promises. We're sold a lot of lies that aren't true. The reason why we're being told these things is because the advertisers, these companies, want you to continue to purchase their products. And if they can convince you that doing it yourself and doing it inexpensively is somehow going to kill your pipes and kill your water and kill your appliances and make your family's clothes filthy and whatever else they can convince you of to keep you from being self-reliant and keep you dependent upon purchasing their product, they will do. And now with the rise of social media, they have people out there that go and they post, they work for these companies. They want you to buy their product. Perfect example. If you remember, in the 40s and the 50s and 60s, some of you don't remember. I happen to know because I just like old magazines. I like to read old magazines. I'm constantly buying antique and vintage magazines to find recipes and ways that people did things before all of these products were available. And so in doing so, I also see a lot of the old advertisements, and that brings me back to my point that when cigarettes were being advertised very heavily in the 40s and the 50s, cigarette manufacturers promised fresh breath, vitality, long life, silky hair. Everything that we know today to be false and a detriment to your health, they were telling people that these things were good things that were going to happen if you smoked cigarettes. And the ads are looking at it from a modern perspective now, are hilarious, the things they were telling people. They had these beautiful women with beautiful teeth and beautiful hair and perfect figures telling them that they were getting all of these beauty benefits because they were smoking. And when in reality they were rotting their lungs and rotting their teeth and rotting their breath and making their skin bad and their hair greasy and all of these things that were coming from these promises from advertisements. Things are a little bit better now, a little bit regulated, but they still do this because they don't want you to be self-reliant. This soap recipe for laundry soap is very simple. It contains borax, which is a natural thing, washing soda, washing soda, it's not the same thing as baking soda, it's washing soda. You can buy it at Walmart, Amazon, sometimes you gotta really dig for it now. I usually find it somewhere around the starch, liquid starch and the powdered starch, which is also hard to find, but you usually can find it. If you can't, just buy it online. I usually buy, one box will last for a long time. It's about $8 a box. It's not that big of a thing. I usually buy 2 boxes at a time. It lasts forever. Same thing with the borax. So you need washing soda, you need borax, and you need some sort of white, non-scented soap. You can use Fel's naphtha, which is the traditional soap. An old Castile soap is also a traditional soap. You can use your own homemade lye-based soap, goat milk soap. I happen to use ivory soap, but I have used all sorts of soap. White soap from the dollar store. When I was a young teacher, I didn't have any money. I brought home $1,100 a month. That was what I had to pay for everything. So I have experimented with almost every kind of soap. I've even used scented soaps, colored soaps. It all basically works. But I think ivory soap is just easier to grate up. I've already grated my soap up. What you want is either 2 4.5 ounce bars or an equivalent. I had 3.1 ounce bars, so I used 3.1 ounce ivory bars, and I also sometimes would just throw an extra bar of soap. I like to rotate my soap, and I buy it in big bulk orders. And I had an older one, and so I just threw that in there too. It's not going to change it any. It'll make it a little bit more gel. I might get a little bit more out of an extra bottle out of it. We'll see. You never know. But so it will grate up. You use an I save a potato grater, a cheese grater. You know the graters. I have one specifically for wax, I have one specifically for soap, and then I have one that I use for my cooking purposes. I've already grated my bars of soap because I didn't think you really needed to want to sit here and watch me grate all these soaps. The older the soap, the finer the powder will be. So you might want to put a towel or something around your face so you're not breathing in, because if it's an old soap, it will really grate up into a really fine powder. That's fine. It does not change the results of your laundry soap. It's just the way it's going to grate up. It's going to be a hard powder, and you don't want to inhale it. So just put a dish towel, tie a dish towel around your face. The newer the soap, the softer it is, the easier it grates up. It just will grate up nice, soft pieces. So that's the soap you want. You're also going to put 4 cups of water into you grate it up, put it in your pan. I'm going to add 4 cups of water to my soap. We're going to heat this up, and we want it to dissolve. So I've got my burner going. While I'm doing this, I also have a kettle of water, and I've got that full, and that is on boiling as well. You're also going to want a 5-gallon bucket. like the Home Depot buckets are perfect. I have one, I keep it, it's just for my laundry purposes. Buy your sink, put your bucket on it. Easy. This will take 2 days. So I'm going to show you the first part, obviously, today. And then tomorrow I'm going to film the second part where I come back and actually make it into the detergent. You're going to need gallon. Well, you can save your old, if you know you want to start doing this, you can save your old laundry detergent bottles. You can ask your families to do it. I am guilty of, once in a while you see just a really neat laundry detergent bottle. Maybe it has a cool dispenser, it sits a certain way. I will buy that just so I can keep using that dispenser, that bottle over and over again. I had one that was really neat. That it was like a 5-gallon one. I don't remember where I got it. It was years ago. And it had like a push button, sort of like a big drink cooler thing, and push button dispenser. It was really easy. I had that thing for at least a decade before it finally broke, and I had to throw it away. And I never could find another one like that again. It was some off-brand, and it was really the neatest thing. But I did buy that, use that laundry detergent up, and then I bought it solely for that container. And apple juice, and the plastic really is a tough plastic. So I have some of those in bottles. They're all marked laundry soap. I have 2 big shelves in my laundry room where all of these go. I make it about every 6 to 8 months and make another batch. And it's nice to just have it on my shelf, and I don't have to worry about going to the store and buying laundry detergent for $15.99 or whatever the outrageous prices are. So my Borax was like about $4 a box. The washing soda, about $8 a box. Ivory soap is cheap. Like I said, I buy it in bulk, so I'm not exactly sure what it is, a bar, but you could buy, I'm going to say anywhere from $1 to $2 a bar. You can buy, like I said, any white. I've found ivory soap at dollar stores before, and when I do, I just clean the shelf out because I use ivory soap as a base for a lot of my cleaning products. In addition to that, you can use it to clean yourself with as well. I also have some fragrance. You don't have to have fragrance. This just happens to be a big thing of lavender that I use in all kinds of things. You can do like 10 drops, 20 drops, whatever you want. I usually throw a couple capfuls because remember we're going to be making 5 gallons of this. So by the time you're done with it, and then after we pour it in our bottles tomorrow, each bottle will get half of our, this sort of makes a concentrate is what we're making. So each gallon bottle is going to get half of the concentrate and then half just water out of my tap. So you can see as you're making it, whatever fragrance you've put in there is going to get diluted a couple times. So you're also going to need, let me throw that in, something to cover your bucket with. I just use an old pizza pan and I'll put a dish towel over that. That's just to keep stuff from falling into your bucket while it sits overnight. So my kettle is going. And my soap is almost dissolved. While my soap is dissolving, I'm going to go ahead and add these other ingredients to my bucket. I need 1 cup of borax. I'm going to put it in my bucket. I'm also going to add to my bucket 1 cup of my washing soda. This is important to know. If you are making this and you have a septic system, or you are using a gray water irrigation system where like your water is coming from your wash machine and your shower or whatever to irrigate trees or plants, do not add the borax. Borax is only for regular city water pipes. So if you, gray water irrigation, septic system, no borax. My soap is almost done. Now, so you can sort of see, sorry. Okay, so here you can see, let me see if I can get some of this foam away. You might see this old pan, it's like from the 50s. A lot. It was actually my big kid's grandmother's double boiler pan. I use it for a lot of things. It's an old, I don't use it for cooking, I use it for a lot of household recipes. But you can see how it's getting, the bubbles are coming, but you can see how it's just very white under there. And my soap is, you can see a little bit of clumps there, but mostly they're dissolving. You gotta constantly be stirring it because the soap will burn if you don't. So you just want to do around your edges so you're just getting it there. If I skim back some of that soap, you can see that's just white. Sort of looks like a lotion under there. I'm going to add the water, hot water that was in my kettle, to my bucket. Having a kettle full of hot water just helps it to dissolve a lot faster when you get all the ingredients in there. What I'm going to do next, I think it's pretty dissolved nicely there. I'm going to pour this whole pan into the bucket with the other hot water product. So it's all in there. I'm just stirring it to get it all dissolved. And then we're going to fill the rest of this up with hot water from my tap. Now if your tap water doesn't get hot, or you don't have hot water, if you're off grid and you have to boil your water, you want to be boiling all this water, because this needs to be hot water that we're going to fill all the way to the top of this 5-gallon bucket. I'm going to fill my bucket to the top. So I have my bucket full. You see all the nice bubbles there of hot water. Another reason why I use the Home Depot buckets is because they really hold up to the hot water. So you want to make sure whatever bucket you get is not like a cheap flimsy bucket that's going to like melt. So after you've added all of your water, if you want fragrance, this is when you want to add it. Add your fragrance, very last thing. Don't want to put it when your stuff is still on the burner, because basically the fragrance will just boil out of it. Pizza pan, put it over the top. I'm going to take a dish towel, just going to spread that over the top of that. I might say this, a lot of times, I read this one article one time about this family, and they always cut their roast in half, and the children did it even when they were grown, and the mother, who was then elderly, came to the house and said, "Why are you cutting your roast in half?" And they said, "Well, Mom, you always cut the roast in half, so we thought we were supposed to cut our roast in half." Turned out the mother cut the roast in half because she didn't have a pan big enough to do the roast whole. So she had to cut it in half and do it in 2 smaller pans. So that was the reason why all those years she was cutting her roast in half. So I always like to add, when I do something strange, to tell you why I'm doing it. The reason why I have a dish towel on top is because my pizza pan is one of those ones that have the holes in it. And I don't want anything getting in there. If you have a pizza pan that doesn't have holes in it, you don't have to put a dish towel on the top. Here we go. We have this is our soap, and it's going to sit here overnight. This is the cool part, and this is the part, oh, kids love to help with this. It will turn into gel, like a thick gelled soap. Sometimes part of yours will gel, and sometimes the whole thing will gel. And that's where it gets fun, because it's squishy, and you got to break up all that gel and squish it, so you can pour it into your jar. So it's the real fun part. So I'm going to come back tomorrow, and we're going to finish making this soap, and we're going to pour it in all the bottles, and I'm going to let you see me put it on my shelf and have it ready for my family's laundry. I'll see you tomorrow. Hey, and we're back the next day. Checking on my detergent. I'm fixing to put it in the bottles. So here is the gelled form. I haven't mixed it up yet. And here are my bottles waiting to be filled. As you can see, there are a collection of apple juice bottles, some old laundry detergent bottles. I'm going to fill each container up about half full, and then the rest is going to be water. And what you do is you just put that on your shelf, and then when it's time to use that bottle, you shake it up good every time before putting it into your laundry. And I use usually about a cup or a half cup or a cup. I'm going to stir this up, and then I'll show you what it looks like when it's stirred up, and then I'll show you putting it in the jugs. And that's all there is really to it. To show you a little bit. I will stir it as much as possible, and then I end up just putting my arm all the way down, because you'll find gelled soap all the way at the bottom of your bucket. Let me see if I can get some more. See? So it's just easier to squish it, and this is where kids love this. Perfectly smooth. Remember, it's not going to look like something from the store, because this is not mechanic. Nothing is made with machines. I mean, this is all by hand. So I'm going to wash my arm off, and then I'm going to start pouring it into my jugs. And what I do is I just use a funnel, and I put it on top of the jugs that are getting the soap. I fill all the jugs halfway up with the soap, and then I go and I fill them all up with water. So got all the soap in all my jugs, and you can see they're all about half full. And so now I'm just going to fill them up with water. And there we have it. I've dried off all my bottles, and they are all on my shelf. And I got 13 gallons of, actually I think it's a little bit more than 13 gallons, because one of the bottles I think is like a gallon and a half. And it's, so it's fun, economical, and easy. And it's very satisfying to have this whole cupboard filled up with laundry detergent, and I know it's here when I need it. I don't have to run out to the store and grab some for 16 bucks. It's done. So I hope that this has been beneficial for you, and I hope that you can utilize this project and save some money and stock up on some laundry detergent for your family. So this has been Angie from Canterbury Trails Farm.